Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. And here it is Thursday. In the middle. Listen to Michael Jackson out there. Hey, Switty, can I have a to-go box? Yeah, you can warm me up a little bit. And a bag with that too.
Huh?
A bag?
Back.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing this hat because it's baby Jesus' birthday every day of the year. If you want, thank you, darling. If you want to see a change in your life, look in the mirror. Michael Jackson wasn't just some young guy who could twirl around and sing. He created songs that truly changed the world. Like this one right there. And it's up to us to keep that kind of spirit going. You know, I never met the man. I really didn't know what he was about, but his music was something I could really relate to. I had this great walk in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. At mid, I got back. Around from 75. I had this great walk down on Pearl Street in the Edison's first power plant. And that was a great place. And I had another abandoned kind of building right across from the New York City's fish market, Fulton Fish Market. And I really didn't have that building. P.T. Smith did. I was just her on it, again, off again roommate. And got her electricity, heat, water. It was a big kind of warehouse right across the street from Fulton Fish Market that was falling down, and she was, squatting it or was paying nothing in rent. But that's the. And then I had this other loft in Williamsburg, like I said, right on the river, looked right at New York City, and 17,000 square feet. Everything included, $300. Couldn't beat it. And it was in a kind of sketchy neighborhood right between Roeblin's and the river. And all the houses that had been there were houses for the Hasidim factories. The Hasidim were moving into diamonds and semiconductors. So they were slowing down on their manufacturing. I mean, they were like the little Taiwan on the East River. Right? So I had this. So it was not all one gigantic space. It was the gigantic space, and then there was the smaller space. And I basically lived in the smaller space. It was interesting and cool. It had a pyramid on top. That building was built by a Dutch mason. So it was all very Masonic. And but it had a big, like 900 square foot. So I split. That was 3,000 square feet. I split it up into four different parts. And, little did I know that a year or two I'd be having a wife who was an artist and needed a studio. One of those parts was hers. It was the general audience, and the other was my friend, school chum. And he, in the beginning, stayed there, but then he got a girlfriend and lived with her. So anyway, because they were, annoyed by the neighborhood. If those kids, the gangs didn't know you, they kill you. We had 5 murders more every week. Now Williamsburg is a big whoop-de-doo space where all the hipsters live. Well, there were a lot of hipsters then too, but it was way more underground. And New York is a place that changes but stays the same. It's quite interesting. And so we are in that changing but staying the same environment, right? And everyone is going on about what to be upset about. And the thing really is what are you getting for baby Jesus' birthday? What does baby Jesus want? Baby Jesus wants love and affection, and everyone to love their brother and sister as they love themselves. Problem is, most people don't love themselves. And I was talking to a friend last night who's in Virginia, and she's a great artist and a great organizer. She's like the Swami Mommy of Earth Day, and she kind of started that in Virginia. And then people took it over because they wanted to be, they took it over so they can monetize it and make money. It's like, back in the 80s when John Lennon got shot, and Yoko Ono put together Strawberry Fields on the Great Lawn, and right across the Great Lawn from Strawberry Fields was the band shell. And this woman named Suzanne, she and I had a salon. I had a great loft in this building. There had been a AT&T building on Barrack and Canal Street, or a little bit behind Canal, kind of where the tunnel to New Jersey is off the canal. And the city got that building and mapped it out, called it Westbeth, and they gave lofts to people who were instrumental in changing the art scene in New York. I came back from Ireland one time, and in my political not mentor, but guru. No, I was her guru. She was the kingmaker. And there was a movie done with Jodie Foster, where she's a political fixer, and this bank gets robbed, and Denzel Washington is a New York detective figuring it out, and it was really squirrely. And so the real problem was the guy who owned it was a Nazi, and all the safety deposit box in there in that bank had all this Nazi stuff, secrets, diamonds, you name it, right? And so the guys who robbed the bank did it to expose the old Nazi guy that was also respectable, and he was, running the political scene in America. And so Jodie Foster kind of fixed it for him. Right? So that was Carrie Shea. I met her at Columbia Law School. I was set up there to go to a lecture series for Ralph Nader. And what's his name? Moses, Robert Moses, just before he died, gave this whole big lecture thing, right, about how to control, find the interesting connection between law and business and control, right, political control. And so the first day of this lecture, he had justice written up on the blackboard in gigantic letters, right? He walks in with his $2,000 suit, his $1,000 shoes, and he has his assistant. He says, and the guy erases a number of letters to where it just says "just us." And he goes, "You ever use that word justice? I'll make sure you never practice law. What justice is allegedly about is about this, just us in control. That's what it's about, right?" And he went on and on and on about how he built the interstate military transportation system. And he defined and explained and gave a great show for about 6 lectures. Anyway, Carrie and I and 2 other people were the folk. I mean, everybody else was wearing business suits. We were not, right? And we're the only ones who had little tags around our necks. Other people had, "Hi, my name is Larry," or something. And, so we were meant to be there. We were supposed to be there. No one could throw us out. We had like real ID. But we couldn't really say anything that would upset the great man, right? And so, really? I can't do that? Okay. I mean, that's one of my things I do. I'm like genetically engineered to do that, upset power. That's why I'm kind of where I'm at. Anyway, so that was in the 60s, and I was just a peanut. And I, did my best to upset him. So it's injustice is for all, it doesn't say, out in front of the Supreme Court building. Well, I just went on and on and on. And he saw that little thing dangling around my neck. And so in the first class, I didn't get upset. I just kind of took the lay of the land. Second lecture, those other 3 people who were kind of like me, who had dangles, we went to lunch and talked. And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th, I just said stupid stuff that annoy him. So, and that's what I do, right? And most times I do it organically. I don't even know I'm doing it. So, anyway, I was talking to my friend, and she's so upset about how people don't get along about it. I said, "Baby, that's how the power structure works. Keeps everyone divided. What you need to do is go find your people." And everything I ever did was with a small group of people that were of a common mind. And we set an agenda. Okay, between today and next year, this date, we're going to do this, 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 and this. We laid it out, how we were going to do it. We set an agenda. We set a strategy. We had a mission statement, and we moved forward. And as we moved forward, things would change, so we wouldn't. We wouldn't. Oh, we can't. We had to do this. We said we're going to. We were very flexible because we were a small group of people, and each of the individuals in that small group of people had their own contract, and those people had their own contract. And that was a constituency. So once that constituency, that was more. But we already had the mission statement. We already had everything working in a direction to achieve something. And so that's what we did. So if you want to achieve something within the political, that's what you have to do. To try it any other way is you just going right in the hands of the hidden hand, right? The powers that shouldn't be, right? So we talked and we talked, and I kept coming back to the thing that basically what you got to do in your life is, hey there, boss, how's life treating you? Good, how are you? Always good. Um, so, that is the story. I have places to be, things to do. What time is it now? Oh, it's still semi early. So, um, and everything's, I've had a lot of catastrophes happen, and I've broken lots of bones in my body, been shot a couple of times, died 7 times, and it's pretty much all good, right? Because I learn from every, event, right? And I went, oh, too bad, maybe for being fat. Well, if they did, I wasn't fat until I really got a lot older. I was in pretty good shape until I was 45. From 45 to 55, my inertia of being in pretty good shape still was carrying me, but I was packing it on. Once I started working in the corporate world, ooh baby, I went from 260 to 460, right, in less than 10 years, and I died again, right? So, and to keep going, so that was 2014, so that's almost 10 years ago. 2024 is coming up. So it took me 7 years to, cut back, slim down, get healthy. But the damage was done. I am still pretty messed up. I spent the last 2 weeks going to all kinds of doctors, and basically, I realized it's kind of where I'm at. This is what's going on in my body, and you know, that's how it works. Uh, Whoops. There goes the last one. So, we're all well, and as my endocrinologist always says, and I guess it's true, I'm the healthiest dead guy he knows. So, um, I'll be right back. Enjoy the day. Look at that sun. So, so did you look at the sun? Did you breathe? Did you breathe in that photonic light? So, I got a few minutes. So, 2023, that we're in right now. Happy New Year's. That's why I'm wearing this all year long. Not every second of the day, but it's my new my new set piece. I love funny hats. So there's always something to annoy you, right? The majority, all 10 billion people, give or take, are morons, right? And the thing is, we have the finance, we live on a planet of abundance, not scarcity. And Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world. You know, there's a problem. He's a friggin' moron, right? And all those Jeffy Bezos, Billy Micro Penis, right? It's not going to end up good. I mean, look at the guy who was running the crypto thing. You know, to get to that place, you have to um, give up your humanity, and that's why I'm living in the woods, right? And for 18 years, there was just me, Mr. Squirrel, and Mr. Bunny, and Ms. Butterfly, right? That's all I ever had to deal with. Beautiful, and the forest was healthy and green and lush, and basically it's dying. And that's part of life. Death is part of life. My new novel series, the first book in the series of 5 is death. I start off with death because we start off with death, right? So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. And how about some thumbs up, right? And how about some money in the old PayPal, right? The Judawake42 at Gmail. It works. Somebody sent something in around Christmas time. That was very nice. But, come on. And I hear from the minions that Johnny Boy, Lena, I am going to try. I have, I never have access. Let's try right now. Let's see what we can do here. We have the internet. We'll try this. Oh, yeah. So all my electronics is being wiggly, just like everyone I know. Electronics is being wiggly, and I am seeing that uh, well, man, I'm trying to get to you, and all I can do is send you an email. Love you. It's good. Never seen it. Oh, good. You call me. Do that again. So, Lana, I'm dialing you. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Well, that was like going to the dentist, but there you are. Happy everything.
Looking good, Santa.
Yeah. Well, I'm Santa's younger brother, Bob. I take care of the naughty and nice list.
Nice to see you, though.
Yes, me too. Good. Happy 23.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, 23. Boy, it's flying by.
Yeah, like question bar. Happy New Year, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
We don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm celebrating Christmas, New Year's every day of the year.
I know it that you are. That's why you live so long and look so good.
Yep, yep. That's
Yeah,
where I'm going with this.
that's your spirit.
Because 23 is going to be more strange, more weird than the last 23 years.
Oh shit.
Well, come on. There's good and bad in everything. All the crap that's going by
Yeah, well, of course.
has
I mean, like we.
kind of woken everybody up, and not like woke. I hate that term, woke.
Me too. Me too. I quite don't get it. It's like everybody's been woke like from the day you open your eyes. I quite don't understand it.
Well, see, the term woke actually means you're a zombie. To be woke, you're a zombie. You know those zombie movies. They got chunks missing out of them, and they can only wobble towards you. You can go hit them with a baseball bat and run away, and they can't get you. But see, there's so many of them. If you don't, keep a 360, they can circle you, and then you're done for, right?
Yeah, as long as you don't get tired.
Right, as long as you don't get tired, or have gas in your car.
Sorry.
Did you ever see that movie, Zombie Utopia, or it was with Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was about the people who survived, and they were doing pretty good. They could just, 1 in 3 cars still had gas in it and the keys in the ignition.
So
and there was plenty of Twinkies for everyone. If you like the Twinkie.
Yeah, the thing is, wasn't he going after Twinkies?
Yes.
One of them.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Because they lasted forever. And if you open up the package, it was just like when he was a kid. So he could go back in time by eating a Twinkie.
We always need a Twinkie.
We do. We do. And it can be used for so many good things. A sex toy, for cleaning your... So
your mind went after that. The first thing it came up was a sex thing. I mean, like it's...
And then, like scrubbing your pots and pans, And you can mush it on the floor to, like, kind of semi-wax the floor with a Twinkie,
What the fuck? Oh shit. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's good that you have a lot of use of it.
Yeah, right.
Like that. I mean, like, honestly.
Yeah.
Bravo.
They're talking about, sustainability. Twinkies are the key to sustainability.
Holy shit. Hey Bob, did you see the game, the soccer World Cup?
Yeah, how could you not, see it? They were going on at 24/7. I mean, soccer's a great game. I used to live in Europe, and I would watch everyone go crazy over soccer, and
it's quite not my thing. I used to be a soccer referee, but I mean, like, I don't watch it unless my country is playing,
right.
Or else I just quite don't give a shit.
Right.
But did you see the finals? That was wow.
The what? What kind of notes?
The final.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. That it was like one of the games of the century. So,
Yeah. And the thing is, at that time, I was with the Colombian.
Right.
And he has 2 kids. So I said before the game started.
You're still with
yeah.
Is that the same guy?
It's the same guy, but we're not there again now. Anyway, but just like the interesting part, I said can everybody guess before the match starts
Right.
what the score will be? So the girl, she said 2-1 to France,
Right.
but she wants Argentina to win.
Right.
And the boy said the same, but other way around.
Right.
And I said 3-3, and it's gonna be come to final.
Right. Shootout.
Like,
It's gonna go out to a shootout.
yeah. But, and then I changed my mind because I'm like, that's impossible. That is like really, that's like the ultimate.
It's like real slim pickings.
Can't happen.
Right. Real slim.
It did though.
It did. It did. Right. Well, that's never say never. You know, never say never.
True.
And that's
Never say
and that's
never,
the
then
beauty of
say
what's
never.
going on right now in our world is don't say never. You know. Don't say never. So you're off of work today, or you just get home from work?
No, right now I'm at home. I didn't work today. I just slept like whole bunches.
Right.
And no work, not today.
So how's the winter been?
Normal. I mean, like since I live in Gothenburg,
Right.
it's always raining here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a little London.
Yep. Yep.
How's the weather over there?
Well, we had ridiculously cold week about a week and a half ago. Like at one time, it was I'll tell you in centigrade, it was minus 32 centigrade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yep. Luckily,
Oh,
the electricity didn't go
wow.
out, or I would have been frozen to death. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But still, you just look younger and younger
Yep.
as days pass on.
As the days pass on, yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
That's good. Cool.
And
32.
yep, and there were a bunch of homeless people out in the woods, and they freeze to death. So I put them in my hippie bus,
Wow.
and because it has a wood stove, and they burned up all the firewood without going getting any more. It was like, and expected me to go get more firewood. You know, it's like, and that's the problem with the world. We have been genetically engineered not to do anything for ourselves.
Not survive.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting. My basic, I keep saying that, you know, the aliens are going to land and take over.
They're here.
Yeah, and yeah, they've been here for a long time, and they already took over, but they didn't want to announce their presence because it would freak everyone out. So they're manipulating all of this to get to a point where they can just say, "Hey, look, we're here, and we're going to help you out. We're going to take care of everything. Everyone's going to be happy." And Did they have that TV show V in England and Europe where the aliens?
Sweden?
Yeah, in Sweden.
Well, no.
Did you ever see it? It was about,
What's that?
The aliens just show up above us, right? And they don't bomb us or anything. Yeah. They just stay up there, and people go, "Uh oh."
They don't have to.
And then they come down.
Ourselves.
And they come down and they introduce themselves, and every alien is hot. All the girls are hot. All the boys are hot. I mean, they're just so cute, so sexy, so perfect. Everyone just like, they're all Hollywood stars. There are magazines about, V, the leader. But all of that hotness is just a facade, because underneath, they're reptiles that love eating babies.
Oh,
yeah!
Holy crap!
Yeah, so that's basically and so they manipulate the human race to be basically cows, to go happily up to the
well, I mean, like, that makes sense, though. It makes sense. I mean, nowadays, common sense is out the window. Just as but it's true.
Right.
But it makes sense that they want babies.
Yeah. So
or
they can
to
eat them. Right. So they
whatever.
can eat them. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because they have the most.
Right. They have all the goodies. It's like eating a gummy. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
a vitamin
exactly.
gummy.
They're,
Eating a baby is
yeah,
like
but they're meant to like be survive.
right.
So makes sense. And
And when stuff like that makes sense, things are screwed up. You know?
well, it's always been screwed up. But
You're right.
in reality,
You took the words right out of my mouth, Lana. So what's making
well, I love you, Bob.
what's making Lana happy?
I mean, like, to be honest, I'm always happy.
Good. Girl.
Like, not happy. I don't go around smiling all the time. That would be weird.
That'd be weird.
But I mean, yeah.
You'd have to be wearing funny hats
it's-
if you did.
Really, because I can't see my own hat. Because why would I laugh? That would be weird.
Right. So if you wear a
No.
funny hat like this, you know, then you can laugh at yourself. You know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Just being.
Right.
It's quite okay.
And you know, like today, it's a beautiful day. It's great. It's like 50-something degrees. It was like 50-something degrees last night, so I didn't freeze. And it's it's just a crystally, sparkly, beautiful day, right? And
What makes you happy? Is it the weather or what is it?
no, what makes me happy? See, there it is. It's a beautiful day, right? What makes me happy is when other people are happy. That's what makes me happy.
Oh, you see, you're kind of a Santa.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm his younger brother, Bob. Yes, exactly.
His younger brother,
Bob.
Bob.
Yes.
That's a good one.
You want to know how I got
That's
the
a
name
good one.
Bob? I'm Santa's younger brother. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep,
That's
yep,
really
yep.
good. You're the real deal. The Santa is made up, but the real deal.
Right. Well, but you know, my older brother, he's like the Grinch.
He's busy.
He's like the
This
Grinch.
time of year.
He's the Grinch.
Sorry.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Did you ever see the movie about Scrooge?
Oh yeah,
Christmas
of course.
Carol,
It's
right?
like every year.
Right. And so, if you want to really
love it.
know how I rule,
Dickens.
is when Scrooge wakes up for the second spirit, and it's not in his room, and he's like looking around, expecting him to be on the other side of his bed curtains. And he gets out, and
Yeah.
he sees some light in another room, and he goes through the hallway and walks in, and there's this guy, half naked on a big throne, with a turkey leg in his hand, and you know, food everywhere, and it's just beautiful. That's me. That's me.
Like, happy to Holy shit.
And what really is amusing is I was that to the max when I worked in the corporate world. You know, all these guys had their
Yeah.
$1,000 suits on. I came in half naked with clothes I found in a dumpster. With two dogs.
Well, you did the right thing, though.
Right, with two dogs. One dog that would like tear your leg off if you got too close to me. And the other dog would get in your
Oh,
lap
shit.
and just kiss you and lick you and say, I love you, and just,
Oh, so you got the devil and the angel.
right.
That's cool.
And they were even worse than the devil. The devil's a pussy compared to this dog. This dog was like,
Holy shit.
you know, and Homie was no angel. So here's a good story about Homie. So and I get very annoyed with people who have dogs and they don't behave. You know, it's not all you got to
too.
do. A dog wants to behave, but he has to always be with you. He has to be. You have to be the alpha in the pack. You just look at them and
Yeah.
they sit, right? So that's how
Yeah.
I have dogs, you know, and I do it from the minute they're born. I stick them in I have this coat that had big pockets, and as mommy dog would pop them out, I would just stick them in these pockets and walk around with them so they could smell me. And then I would have like a kiddie pool without water in it, and I would have my blankets in there, and I'd put them in there to go to sleep, so they couldn't get out.
Oh.
But mommy dog could just step over that little wall of the kiddie pool and feed the kids. And after that was done, she could leave them so they wouldn't bother her, right? So I gave all the puppies away except for one, Homer, because he was a runt and he just loved me and he loved mommy. He loved everything. He looked like a calico cat. And so.
What race was it?
Oh,
Race?
Mommy dog was a border collie, black lab.
What do you call the smartest one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Lab, border collie, and Newfoundland. So,
wow.
yeah, she was a great, and I saved her from certain death, and she knew it.
Oh.
You know, when I looked at her, and this guy was going to throw her in the river. I looked in the bag, and she's looking at. I'll be the best dog. I'll do any. I'll drive your car. I'll do your taxes. Get me out of here.
I'll do your taxes. You're funny.
So, so she was one. I've had a lot of dogs. She's the best, mommy dog, Bella. And then, I always thought she was a lesbian because she hated boy dogs, right? And she would just rip them up. But one day I say, boy, Bella, you look like you're getting fat. I took her to the vet, and the vet said, no, Bella's going to have puppies. So she has puppies. She has 6 of them around Christmas time. And then I go to Florida. And
wow, baby Jesus.
And yeah, baby Jesus dogs. And my buddy, who's a big developer down there, has this big fancy New Year's party, like around, after New Year's. He doesn't do it on New Year's. He does it the weekend or second week. Anyway, he has a big party. And he always has me there, even if he has to fly me there. So I can read palms and entertain people and tell stories. I'm like the entertainment, right?
I know that. Yeah.
And so I had a basket of these puppies, and I walked in, and the rich people, look at the puppies, so nice. Oh, and this one goes, I want that puppy. I want this puppy. And he's like got it in his hands. He's petting it. Look, it loves me. And I said, yeah. So is it free? And I said, no, it's not free. He goes, well, how much you want for it? I said, take out your wallet. Takes out his wallet, and he's got about 500. He has 5 Benjamins and a few 20s and a 5. And I take out the 20s and the Benjamins, and I said, this is how much. And he's happy with that because he's a rich guy. And I knew if I took that, he wouldn't throw the dog away. When he got home and not drunk the next day, he would just like leave it in a parking lot someplace,
Yes.
So anyway, I sold all those dogs, made about $5,000. And the only one I didn't sell was Homer. I left him because he was so
Homer.
Sweet. Yes, Homer.
What a good Simpson name.
Yep. Homer from the Greeks and Homer from Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so we stayed in Florida, and so we're driving back to Virginia, and it's around March, and there are a couple of places, so this is a path I take regularly, right? Every Christmas I come down, I spend Christmas at Jekyll Island in the big fancy hotel, and then I go down to Florida, and then I turn around in March, and I kind of do the same trip. And there's 2 restaurants that I stop in. One in St. Augustine, and another one in Georgia, Savannah.
Wow.
Right? And really
Savannah.
Not touristy places. They're like off the beaten path, but they're really great, great restaurants. So I go into this one restaurant, and right on the door it says no dogs allowed. And I walk in with Homer and Bella, and we walk to our table that's always waiting for us, and they go under the table and go to sleep. Now the owner, I know the guy really well, and he's actually a dog guy. He just doesn't want them around because he'd be playing with them
for everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but he loves Homer, and now he's, oh, look, a new one. Bella, were you fooling around? And so I'm having lunch. I'm reading my newspaper, and I hear a scream like a murder is occurring. And it's right in the dining room. And there's this woman across from me, and she is in an electric wheelchair, and she has a breathing device on her. And, and Homer is in her lap, licking her. Like, I love you, don't scream, I love you. And she screamed, she must have had some real issues with dogs because she's losing her shit. And she starts pissing herself, right? And the big puddle of urine is going towards where the transformer for her electric wheelchair in the device. And I go, oh, she's gonna get electrocuted. So I use my pay attention voice and just say, "Homie!" And he jumps straight up out of her lap like Scooby-Doo. His little legs are moving. And by that time, Bella has awakened. She's gone over and opened up the door, right? So he runs out. I leave. She's gone. She's looking back, making sure she doesn't have to kill someone. We go to the car, and we're gone, right? And we don't ask, we don't see, we don't wait. We're just gone, right?
Oh, you're just with 3 monkeys.
Right? And we're gone. And like, we're right on the border of Florida and Georgia, and now we're in Georgia. About 40 minutes later, we're in South Carolina. So I'm already 2 states away, right? Within 2 hours, I'm halfway home, right? And so I, slow down enough, and we get home. And about 1.5 years later, I'm on the interstate. And I go, I'm going to go check this guy out. This is long enough time to put between that incident and now. And so I drive there. I get out, and I leave the dogs in the car. I said, "Okay, you guys got to stay here." And they're fine. It's like
Homer and Bella.
Right, just in case. And so I walk in, and it's like that time between breakfast and lunch, and there's really no one there. And the guy's at the cash register, like doing something. He looks up and he looks at me, and he laughs, and he gets 2 cups of coffee, and he comes over, and he goes, you did the smartest thing. I said, what? He goes, well, about 30 minutes after you got out of here, every police entity in the universe was here, right? And he goes, so I don't know your name.
Holy shit.
So, but do you know the guy who was here? And he goes, I have no idea. I didn't see anything. I was back in the kitchen, which he was. And then they interviewed everyone there. And everyone had he was a black man. He was Hispanic. He was an alien. And
he was an alien.
And they didn't describe the dogs at all correctly, or get the car right, or anything. So it was. So that's.
He kind of got it.
Yes. So that's Homie. That's how sweet he was. Meaning, he was. And
your heart.
Right. Homie was my heart, and Bella was my brains. She was way smarter than I. Way smarter than I was ever. Right.
Oh yes.
And she liked the fact that I was in charge, but she really was, right? And I let her know that. She knew it. She didn't have to prove it, so she could, go to sleep with one eye open. She didn't have to have both eyes open, right? So she was very happy with how the arrangement was, right? So.
Yeah, and you kind of thought it was the common sense.
Yep.
For dogs.
Yep.
I mean, their common sense is much better than ours.
Way better than us. Way better.
Yep.
So have you had dogs?
You just said mix, though.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Oh, Homie was a really amazing mix because all the other puppies look like her, but like movie stars. Black with a golden diamond in their chest, and they walked around like they were movie stars. They were. But Homie was just unconditional love. Meaning all those other puppies, they were okay. They were, Bella and whatever. And so they were good. They were movie stars, right? And I trained them from the minute they got it. Like I said, I put them in these pockets in this coat I had. So I was it, Once Bella was through feeding them, she really didn't want anything to do with them, right? She couldn't care less. Except she did like Homie.
It's kind of your responsibility.
Right, it's my
It's
job.
like, okay, I did this.
Right,
This hard job. Now it's your turn.
right. So
So
she was happy that I got rid of all the movie stars and kept Homie. She liked Homie. And Homie really, really related to her as mom.
oh boy.
Not as my new girlfriend, but mom, right? And I think Homer was transgendered, you know.
Being the new.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's always been there.
right.
Yeah.
And because like he looked like so many animals, not just dogs, you know. He looked a little like a giraffe. He looked a little like a zebra, and his coat was unbelievable.
You miss him a lot. You miss him a lot. When you're talking about him, I never heard you talk like this about anything.
Right.
Except this, like, it's unconditional love.
Right. And they both were that. Right? And Bella, you know, so she lived to be almost 30 years old.
Wow.
And she lived to
That's a
be,
lot.
yes, she lived almost 30.
That's over.
Yes, way over. And she was in great shape until she wasn't. I mean, she could still beat any dog. I mean, no dog would mess with her. She had this growl that was like at a frequency that only dogs could hear. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah, but not like. But,
You're not coming near me.
I'll kill you. Right, I'll kill you, motherfucker. You know. So,
Beautiful.
but when she looked at me, she had this little smile on her face, like that's my boy. That's my boy. Nobody else's boy. That's my boy. It's my boy.
Yeah, you're her boy.
Right.
You're not. She's not your
Dog.
bitch.
Right. I'm her boy.
Trans is bitch. So,
Right.
I mean, like,
Right.
sorry.
Well, no, bitch is totally, a perfect word because she was a dog and she had puppies, so that makes her a bitch. Right.
Yeah, but the thing is, I love the word bitch. I'm like,
Oh, I use it all the time.
I'm fucking yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm not a hater. I'm a lover.
And you know the other thing, you can use bitch like an adjective. Boy, that's bitchin'. Yeah. It's that one. It can be an adjunct. It can be a noun, a pronoun.
Verb?
Yep, can be a verb. Yep.
Oh, you're funny. Yeah, I mean, like, dogs are the most honest ones.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have one dog.
They can't lie.
And I named him, yeah, but they're the honest one. I used to have a dog called Nero after the Emperor Nero, like, went insane.
Yep.
Because he was fucking insane for a while
Yeah.
when he was little. He's an Alaskan Husky.
Oh, the worst dog. They because they're bred just to go.
No, he's a mix.
Oh,
He's a
good.
mix.
You're
He was
lucky.
50-50.
You're lucky.
And the other mix is Jämthund. It's a dog that's nearest to the wolf.
Oh,
Genetically.
well, husky is pretty close to wolf too.
Yeah, I know. And he was not tougher. He talked with his body
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
And he was 11 when he died. And because
Well,
I had to leave him with the ex, and used to care of him, me and him, and what a dog, dude. I mean, like, fucking hey, you can talk with him, and he would reply. But the thing is, as speaking as alpha,
Mm-hmm.
I know that you have to be alpha, but there's also delta and omega,
Right.
everything. I mean, in between.
Right.
Yeah, and
Well, that was Bella. She was
when
really
you-
in charge, but for
Yeah.
for social senses, I was the guy in charge. I mean, she would have been
Yeah,
happy
but
to
that's-
drive the
yeah.
car if she had thumbs. She didn't have thumbs. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of you drove each other,
Mhm.
with each other,
Mhm.
like going,
And
So I
Homer
don't-
was our
and-
our spirit, meaning she beat him up all the time. but she would never hurt him, and he knew
The
it.
little
So
dude.
he would just keep coming back and smash into her, and she would do stuff like, put herself with a concrete wall behind her, and homie come running after her, and she would just step aside
Oh
and go
no!
smashing into
Shit.
she do that. She was like, Lucy and Charlie
Holy
Brown.
shit, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Yes, really smart, beyond really smart.
Holy shit.
I mean, she would do
Yeah,
stuff like,
that's dark.
if she wanted to get back at me, she would do things like take my car keys, because she knew that if I didn't, I always put my car keys in the same place, because if I didn't, I'd never find them. So
No.
if she wanted to get it, she would like pick them up and just like put them across the room in another very obvious place, and then like go to the
Holy
other side of
shit,
the room
Bob.
and
She
like
was your brain.
pretend she was asleep, and then I'd go get the car keys and they were gone. And I'd start looking
She
everywhere
pretended.
way, and I'd look over at her, and she'd have this little smile on her face, and her eyes would be closed, and I'd say, Bella,
Oh,
and she'd just look at me and smile even
Wow.
more and just go back to sleep. And so
Oh,
I would
wow.
have to like, okay, she put them someplace in plains. Oh, there they are. So we do that at least once or twice a month. But that would show,
Holy shit, you pissed her off so much.
right,
Twice a month.
twice a month. And that was our little game to, so she wouldn't bark or chew something up. When she did that, I said, okay, okay, thank you for telling me that I'm doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? And then she would, we'd have a conversation and we'd work it out and be no problem.
Smart.
Yes. Oh, she was
Smart.
beyond smart.
But jeez, I mean, like fucking hey, Border Collie, come
Right.
on, dude.
Yep.
And you have the mixes as well, the rest.
Yep.
I mean, you got a smart dog.
Yep.
Got a smart telephone, a smart dog.
Plus,
Wow.
she owed me one for saving her life as a puppy.
Oh, Tika.
She never forgot that. I mean, she always kind of, whenever she came over and put her her big head on when I'd be writing stuff, she just put her head. I mean, she wasn't that affectionate of a dog. I mean, she was. To me, she was really affectionate. To everybody else, she would, okay, so what? Homie loved everything. Not, he would cuddle chairs, things like that,
Oh, sorry.
So she dies, right? And what happens is about a month before she dies, we're at the school, and she's moving slower, and she doesn't want to real play with the ball, and she's not really eating well, and so I go, And Homer's like, I don't know what's wrong, Dad. I mean, now I can beat her up. There's something really wrong. I'm not going to beat her up. And so, and then one day I went downstairs looking for her. She wasn't around. And I was saying, Bella, where are you, Bella? And Homer came running up the hill and said, you got to see this. And we went down to where our sacred fire pit was. And she was digging her own grave.
Oh.
Where she wanted to be buried. Right? And so
she was that smart that she even didn't want to bother somebody with her own death.
Right.
I mean, like, fucking A.
And then she lived
That's
another,
beautiful.
so I knew that sometime, so I didn't take her to a vet or anything. I just made her comfortable, and I had her sleep with me, and because she liked that. And then one morning I woke up and she wasn't at the foot of the bed, and I looked where Homer is, and he's howling. He's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. He had a wolf kind of howl.
Yeah.
And I go out, and she is dead in her the hole she had dug for herself to be buried.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bob, fucking A. Come
Yeah.
on, dude.
Yeah.
Shit. Ugh.
And I had
I'm
a
so
couple
sorry.
of bags of concrete in my car. I was going to do a project. And so I just mixed it up and poured it over her so no animal would dig her up, and that she would be entombed for the rest of forever.
Like Cleopatra.
Yep.
Bella. What a beautiful name.
Yep.
Beautiful dog, beautiful soul.
Yeah. So that's right when, and she died because that's when I had died in a plate of spaghetti about about a year before that. So I wasn't doing too good anyway. So she was going, he's really slowing down. I should just, leave the
Not bother
stage.
him. But why though? Why?
Oh, I'm anthropomorphizing it. I'm anthropomorphizing. I mean, there was no real reason. She just died because she was freaking almost 30 years old.
Okay.
You know? That's why she died.
Yeah.
But what
30
happened
years.
was,
I mean, like that's living one half.
and so I had to basically, I had to sell the school. So Johnny showed up, and I sold him the school, and so I had to, go out. And Homie was, he was now about 6 years old, and he was used to our life, and our life had totally changed with Bella's death and my sickness,
Yeah.
and my not being able to, have a lot of money and do whatever the heck we wanted to do. So I had a friend up in Floyd that I drove him over to, and he had sheep. And so that would be, he's border collie. He's got that in him. And that guy had lots of kids between the age of like 2 and 11. And so I said, this would be a great place for Homie. So that's why I left Homie.
Yeah, but I mean, he did his job.
Right.
So, and I think that was smart for you. And
Right.
honestly, pretty fucking selfish.
Yep.
No, not selfish. The other way around.
Right.
Selfless.
Selfless. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I went back twice to go visit him because that's before John threw me out for the last time in 2017. I came to the Deep Green and stayed here since 2017. Anyway, so I came back once, and he was like, dogs are amazing because my friend said, he knew you were coming 20 minutes before you showed up. I don't know how he did that, but he just went out to the driveway and just waited, and you showed up like 10 minutes later. And so, and I drove past him, and he was running next to the car. Look, hey, Dad's back. Oh, wow. I opened the door. I got out.
Dude, the dude is coming.
Right. And he jumped in the car and said, okay, we can go now. This is fun. But I said, no, buddy. You got to.
You got to do yours.
Yes.
I have to do mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
I know. I've noticed that the way you talk about them, it's different from when you talk about anything else. You talk a bit more like that's your soul. Kind of.
Yeah. That's who they were. Right?
You don't talk like this about anything else.
I had other dogs that I was
the thing
really.
is 30 years.
Yes, I had other dogs too. I'm a dog boy, and all the dogs I had
Me
were
too.
as amazing as Bella and Homer. Not quite, but almost.
Bella.
Right?
Bellissimo.
Yeah. I had a dog named James Dandy. He almost lived to be 30 years old.
James Bond. Really? Every dog?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Bob, what you should do is like open a home for people, and they will live like more further than they're supposed to.
Well, I did that with my parents. I took care of them from at 75. You have to take care of us. I said, no, I don't. And then I decided, I am going to take care of them. They're 75. They'll die in 5 years. I'm going to say everything I wanted to ever say to them, do everything I wanted to do with them. And then I'll be happy. I won't have any, I wish I did this, right? So I did that, and they lived another, my mom lived to be 103. My dad lived to be 98. So, and they were in good
Holy
health.
Shit.
They could.
Good health.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was like, So when my mom died, we went back to New York and put her in the ground. And then my father and I went back to Florida where their house was. And one day I walked in and he had his service revolver. You know, he had a gun from being in the army, and he looked up at me and said, "Would God be mad at me if I killed myself? I'm so lonely without Wilma." And I said, "No, Dad, God doesn't give a fuck about you, but I would be quite upset because I'd have to clean it up. I'd have to deal with the police. I'd have to, no, you're not doing this." I took the gun away and I took it apart in front of him. He was like
Would
amazed.
God be mad if I shit myself?
No.
I mean, I'm sorry, but your dad is pretty epic.
Right.
That's epic.
That is epic. And he didn't think about God one shit until that moment, you know.
Would he be mad?
Right.
I mean, that's so kind as well.
Right.
I mean, like, if considering, like, he asked you, not God.
Right. And that's kind of the dynamic we had. It was very strange. But anyway, I said, "No, Dad, what you're going to do is I'm going to you're going to drive me back to, no, I'm not driving you anywhere. I'm putting you on an airplane and I'm going to fly you to New Jersey, and Mary, the oldest, will pick you up. And you will stay with her until you die, because my father had a blood disease that I have a little bit of, and that he had to have all his blood."
What is it?
Oh, it's a string of letters.
Okay, but what is it?
What it is a blood disease that your blood doesn't metabolize itself, and so after about 6 months,
it doesn't coagulate.
It doesn't. No, it cauterizes, but almost too well. What it doesn't do is everything else blood does: bring oxygen to the cells, bring information to the cells.
Oh wow!
So he had to have all his.
What blood type are you?
I'm O, I think. I'm not quite sure.
I'm O, the one they can give to everybody, just can't receive from itself.
Right, exactly. And in a lot of ways, O seemed to be the one blood type that viral diseases don't like. So, but what happened to my dad? So I said, "Dad, don't shoot yourself. Just don't get your blood transfused, and you'll be dead in 6 months. Period. And you'll just go to sleep. You know, you won't blow your brains all over the living room. You know." And he like kind of lights up and goes, "Yeah." And I said, "And I'm sending you to Mary's, and what you're going to do is you're going to stay there and be the good guy who you are with all her kids and all the grandkids." Because my father would go there like the king and take them all out to dinner and say, "Okay, have whatever you want." And then they say, "Oh, I'll lobster, I'll steak." And he'd say, "No, cheeseburger for you." And he'd say, "Cheeseburgers for everyone but me," right? And so, and he traumatized them for like 30 years. And I said, "If you go back and spend, you know, however many months it's going to take for you to die, and be that good guy and have, you know, take them out to the diner and go to movies with them and just fool around with them, when you die, all they'll remember is what a good guy you were, not the asshole who you really are."
I'm sorry.
Well, you can laugh at that one. That's, you know, that was the
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, that's a good one. I'm sorry. Oh, holy shit.
So, you know, I said, you know, so he said, "That's a great idea, but you have to drive me there." I said, "No, airplane. You know, airplane ride 2 hours." And I said, "I'm going to call up the airlines, and I will have them meet us at the curb with a, you know, pretty girl behind a wheelchair, and she will wheel you right to your seat." You know, and then they will have a person, another pretty girl with a wheelchair at the other end in New Jersey, who will take you from that seat straight to Mary. Period. You want, and they will put you in that front bulkhead seat where there's plenty of leg room, right? And because you're handicapped, you're old fart, you can barely walk, you can barely see. Just play that up. And so we did.
Holy shit!
And when the next day I called them up. So I said, "How?" I said, "That was such a great idea I had." I said, "Yeah, that was, Dad. It was a great idea you had."
Oh my God, you loved him so much.
Of course I did, because see,
I know.
I didn't
but you don't have to love your father and mother.
Right, but see,
I
was
you
blessed.
Really did as a person.
Well, because I was blessed to not have to deal with their shit. My grandma took care of me for 7 years, so I wasn't dipped like a sheep in their stupid shit, like my brothers and sisters were, and they're crazy neurotic folk now. And then I just kind of dropped in when they were at their best: Christmas time, Mom's birthday, and summer vacation. Those are the things we're really good at doing. So I had nothing to do with them otherwise, right? And when I showed up there at 7, no one knew who I was. My father once tripped over me because I was a little kid.
Oh, shit.
And he looked down, he goes, "Who are you? You don't belong here. You're not one of us." And he was so right. I wasn't one of them, And instead of me freaking out like most kids, if that was told to them by their father at 7, they would be mortally destroyed like Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy, his father said shit to him. I mean, I spent Thanksgiving with John's family, and I can understand why John is the way they are. But they are no worse than any other family I ever saw. You know what I mean?
No love.
No love. No, there is love there. No. That family is very loving. His mother is. They're just neurotically crazed people who spent their whole life making a fortune because that's what society said you're supposed to do.
You mean like the 50s kind of parents?
Yes. So they weren't there
that
really.
That sucks. There are no parents.
Right. But it wasn't their fault, They were a product.
No, I know, because they have their parents.
Right. They were a product of their environment, So that's what it was. So it's very obviously, and his father went to Vietnam, so his father has some serious PTSD.
Oh, shit.
PTSD. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And because he could handle his life and make a fortune, he thought he was fine.
He went it on everybody else.
Right. So I got to stay with them for 4 days. So I knew them. I knew. I've been hanging with John for 7 years. So but I didn't get to know them like living with them for 4. Like his mother is an unbelievable Italian cook, and have you ever had those Italian cookies that are like meringues, hard sugar?
You mean hard? I'm Albanian, so I mean, fine, we're good neighbors.
Right. And it's a really super sugary cookie, hard.
I don't like it.
No, me neither. It kills me.
I don't like sugar.
Right. But it has savory bits inside, along with it's like the Italian version of Christmas cake. Those loggy things that have fruit in it and all of that. But it's so sugary, it's unbelievable. Well, my grandma made those.
Oh, shit.
And and strufla and a whole bunch of all those Italian goodies. I am just getting over the sugar shock because she made thousands of them and put them on little plates all around the house. So no matter what chair you sat in, this cookie was staring you right in the face. Oh, I'll just have one. Well, I just didn't have one.
Made with love. Yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, Bob, the thing is, both of my parents were, in my family, were 3 kids. My sister in the States. Also, I just want to say that she wants me to come to America and be an American.
Well, you can come to America and visit.
I'm sorry?
You can come to America and visit.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I love Sweden. This is my, home.
Yeah, I know.
Vikings are made here.
I mean, the only time to do that kind of traveling is when you're young, I mean, I'm glad I did all my traveling when I was young.
No, I didn't do that because I was playing tennis. So from 7 to 20 years old, only that.
Did you compete?
So I like sport.
Did you compete?
Yes. Yeah. Not allowed to do anything but sport. But the thing is, you get some kind of common sense that's better than the rest. You get what's right from wrong. Because in tennis, before you go to the top, you don't have referees. You have to referee for yourself. So do you want to win by default?
Right, cheating.
Win by, or do you want to win?
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good lesson in the start of life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. It actually is.
And that's why sports is a good thing. The
course.
sports I played, I was very blessed to have really good coaches who said, I don't care if we win or lose. That's not what I care about. What I care about is that you guys do your best. You do your best. You can't, you know, that's why you're doing this game, not to win, but to do your best. You do your best. We won. We can go home happy. And by doing your best, you know, we ended up winning a lot of games. And but we mostly had fun. We just had fun. And and two, if you have fun, you're gonna win, right? Right. And I had really great coaches. So so I was a little peanut of a kid until I wasn't. You know, around 11, I just spurted up and filled out when I was a freshman in high school in this prep school. You're going to play football. You're going to be a lineman. You're big boned. I said, no, I hate football. Yep. I'm not playing football.
Yeah, because you kind of fucking take those words. Football is soccer.
Right.
Not soccer, not, but I mean.
But
Bob,
you know,
I'm sorry,
American football with the pads and the helmets and all that crap, right? Going to war.
Can you just call it another name, like?
I can call it another
American
name.
Football?
Really stupid. That's my new name for
It is.
American football. Really stupid.
It
right?
is.
Yep.
It is. I mean, your brain gets mushed.
Yeah, right. Really stupid. You know, I saw so I would not, you know, so they made me play football. They gave me a uniform and pads, and I would just, you know, I wouldn't do anything. I would just stand there, right? And when we practice, I would just kind of stand there, right? And they'd yell at me, and I'd just stand there. But we had such a small team, I had to play. So the first game we play, you know, and this guy really wants to beat these guys because he hates this school. And so anyway,
Like the bull.
yes. And so I'm, you know, there I am, and we're lining up, and I don't even get into the stance. I'm still standing up, and I lean over and I knock on the guy in front of me, my opposing person, and I knock on his helmet. And he looks up at me, and he goes, "Get down!" And you know, they're not going to start until you get down. I said, "That's why I'm not doing it. I don't want to do this." And he goes, "What do you mean you don't want to do this?"
Like the both bad enough.
I don't want to play football. Because why are you? What? Why are you here? I said, they're making me do this. So this is what we're going to do. I don't want to hit you, and I definitely don't want you to hit me. So this play is going to happen on 2, right? So tell everyone it's on 2, and it's going to come right through where I'm at. And I'm going to just step back and get out of harm's way. And it's going to be the halfback over there. He's going to run right through this hole. I want you to kill him. Tell all your buddies, the linebacker behind you and the 2 guys beside you, just pick this guy up and run it. Forget getting the ball, pick him up and run him back to the, you know, to point 1, right? And then punch him and kick him a few times, you know, so he doesn't get up.
Okay.
And so, you know, so we, you know, I know that they're just about to blow the whistle, and so I get into stance. The guy goes hup hup, and I step back. Bam! You know, that goes. They lose 20 yards, right? We, you know, next time we get down, I knock on the guy's helmet. It's going to be the guy on the other side. It's on 3, and I just, you know, gentlemen, you having a good day?
Yes, sir. So good.
Well, you come to a good place for a meal. I know you. I know you know that. I know you know that.
From Sweden. Hello.
Anyway, so
come on.
So after the 3rd time, and they drop the ball, and then they pick it up and go for a touchback, and that's like in the first 3 minutes of the game. And 2 guys are going off to the hospital. The coach comes and grabs me by the mask and starts pushing me. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And he's about to pull my head off. And I take the strap off and push the helmet above the back of my head. And when he pulls on the helmet, it flies off my head and hits him right in the nose and breaks his nose. Like he broke his own nose with my helmet. He broke his own nose with my helmet.
Bitch.
Right. And he's bleeding and he's screaming. He's jumping up and down. I said, What did I tell you the first fucking day? I don't want to play football. I'm going to do this all day long.
Noise.
And he just lost his shit. They had to carry him away. He just like, so the game was called, we were there all of like
Why does he
8
gotta
minutes.
tell his wife?
We were only there 8 minutes and we lost by 12.
Oh, well, 12. Fuck him.
So,
What an asshole.
right. So they took him away, and the other guy who was the second in command, he was like even a bigger jerk. So he left me at that school, at the Deerfield Academy. Left me there, and those guys came over and like patted me on the back and took me to the dining room, and I had dinner with them, and they gave me a Deerfield jacket. And they thought I was the coolest guy there ever was. Of course, I was. And I was only a freshman, I was still a little guy, even though I was big
You
boned.
were like Bella.
Right.
Just don't fuck with me, bitch.
Yeah, right. And so Mr. Bukhar, my mentor at that school, he came and got me,
Yeah.
and he was laughing hysterically because the
You
guy,
mean like laughing for real?
right?
Okay.
Because he hated the football coach because he was
Because he was a dick.
he was a dick.
I mean,
And Mr. Bukhar
bad
wanted
way.
to be the
Yeah.
football coach, but he was too nice. The headmaster didn't like him, so he wouldn't give Mr. Bukhar the things he wanted. He had to have him, but he didn't make his life any easier. Anyway, so he was laughing hysterically the whole time, right? And he said,
he was like, finally, I saw it with my own two
Right,
eyes. That motherfucker's going down.
right. And he
I'm
had
sorry.
actually came to that game and saw the whole thing. And one thing he got to do was make the films. This is when they made film of football games, so you could see your mistakes. He says, I caught the whole
Wow.
thing on film.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it like every day. Whenever I feel sad, I'm going to watch this movie. Right?
Oh, that's beautiful, Bob.
Right.
You did it again.
So he's
Holy
driving me
shit.
back, and so it's like an hour and a half drive, and he says something to me that like made my life what it is today, because pretty much I don't think about anything I do. It just happens to me. I just happen to do the right thing at the right time.
You just deal with it.
Yeah, and it works out fine. So he said, "You're the most honest human being I've never met a guy. I'm honest. I'm not even close to, because you can't tell a lie. You can't, and you
Yeah.
have this thing where you don't hurt people's feelings, but some schmuck, if he's going to beat the crap out of you, you still go toe to toe with him, and not unscared, and because he
But
saw
you
this
know that
happen.
he didn't do that. He didn't do that because honestly, you cannot tell a lie.
Right,
I'm also a lie detector,
right,
so I can tell that if you don't or you do. But the thing is, he kind of won the game in the end
right,
by being nice,
Right.
and that's the hardest part.
right, and that's the teachings of Jesus, whoever he was, are truly true.
Jesus.
Jesus, right? Larry, yeah. And when you go to Greece and go to the Greek Orthodox
You mean
Church,
Grace? Really?
when you read,
I know Grace.
right? If you go, I love Greece. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's the neighbor to Albania, so
right.
big up.
And the place I love most about Greece is Delphi.
Uh-huh.
Up on top of the mountain there, where the girls were huffing the hallucinogenic atmosphere.
Oh, I don't know. How would I know that?
The Oracle of
I've never
Delphi.
been there.
The Oracle of Delphi.
Nuh-uh. No.
Well, not only did the Olympics go there, that's where all the theater was,
Oppa.
and that's where the Oracle. These three girls. It was a
Oh, shit.
a I don't know what to call it, a religion, but there was a group of women who had this church or sacred site or what do you want. It was a mound, and it was right on top of a hot springs, right? And so they would be in the waters, and the waters would tell them what was going
Like
on.
a siren? Wow.
And the water,
Like
and it
a
was
siren.
right, and it was a hot water thing, and the steam coming up was hallucinogenic.
Okay.
So there they are in this nice, bubbly
Wow.
swimming pool with hallucinogenic.
Okay, did you just make this shit up?
No,
I mean, like,
no, no,
really?
no, no, no,
Really?
no.
Really?
Hey, go
Wow.
Google, Oracle of Delphi, and they don't put it right up front, but if you dig deep enough in the scholarly side, they all say, yes, these girls were just tripping their brains out,
Why?
So when my first wife and I, Donna, we went to Delphi and we had no money. And, I travel around on first class with no money, So sometimes when you go off of the path of where they want you to go and you're going to stay at this hotel and do this and see this and this and this, you go off and do your own thing.
Oh.
Well, you got to pay for that, right? So they didn't go to Delphi, so we wanted to go to Delphi. So we, took the bus, and we had no money for a hotel. So not quite right in the middle of town, but almost to the side. When you come on the main road coming into Delphi, and the road up there is like, a goat path, right? And it's got trucks and cars and buses. It's like the death road. It really is. And
Oh, shit.
yes, like mountain on one side, cliff 5,000 feet down over there. And you can look down and see all these burnt things where cars and trucks and buses are. It's not like it didn't happen. Anyway, so we get to Delphi, we go see the stuff. We have a really amazing scene, and it gets dark. We need to sleep someplace, and this is really pretty grassy hill, right? And so we go there, we sleep on top of it, and it's like the most comforting, most great place. There's hardly any incandescent light, so you can really see the stars in the night sky. There's no moon. It's unbelievably beautiful. And we're there, and we just conk right out because we've been going for at least 2 days. And so this is our first really good sleep. And we kind of cuddle up in our sleeping bag with each other, and we're asleep, bang, right? And I wake up, and there's a glittering light all around me, right? And I hear my wife going, do 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 do. She's like,
really?
Yeah, she's
Why?
right.
Why?
Well, I sit
Why?
up and go, Don, what is going on? And she's going, do 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 do, and she's just staring straight ahead. She's not talking to me. And I put my hand in front of her, and she's like, either unconscious or asleep, or anyway. And so, but this light is glittering around us, and I look above us, and a gigantic flying saucer was over our head.
Oh, yeah.
And she was talking to it. She was talking to it. It was
No.
It was in 1977, and we had seen Close Encounters in London. We lived in Paddington Station, and
What did we? Close Encounter? What did we?
we is my wife and I.
First.
My
Yeah,
first
I know,
wife.
but what kind of grade?
What
First
was?
kind, second kind, third kind.
Oh, it was just above us. I guess that first time we saw it. It-
Fifth kind.
But Donna was having the second and third kind. She was communicating with it, right? Me, I was just looking at it. And so I thought to myself, wow, this is wicked cool. And it wasn't like right on top of us.
I mean, that was your first fucking thought. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I said, this is
Are
freaking
you kidding
cool.
me?
No.
Okay.
Because I'd seen weird things my whole life. It wasn't like, oh my God, what is that? It was like, and
Oh, really? Well, okay, Bob, okay, fine. But I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, that's weird.
no, it
Seeing
is.
a
Well,
wife
that's me.
Growing up like cell phone, talking with something else. I
Right.
mean, like, you should. Haha.
Well, I guess I was in shock. Who knows? How can you? But anyway,
No, I don't think you were in shock.
so I was thinking, boy, that's freaking cool. Maybe we can get on board. And like I said, it wasn't right on top of us. It was about
On
5,000 feet ahead, above us, right? So it starts to come down. And that's when I said, no. I don't think I'm ready for this. Nice that you dropped on by. See you later. And then it rose up and shot away like 1 second you saw it, next second wasn't there, right?
What?
And then after that thing shot away, Donna was, what am I sitting here? What happened? Why am I sitting up? What's going on? Why am I sweating? What happened? And I told
Hey.
and I told her the story, and she said, "Well, so that's and so the next morning we went back to sleep, and we went back to sleep. We weren't like freaked out like we ran away. We just went back into our sleeping bag and cuddled up and woke up with the sun about 3 hours later. So we stayed there. We watched the sunrise. It was a beautiful morning. We didn't jump out of bed, and so around
Bob,
8 or 9
come
o'clock,
on.
we rolled up our packs and we were go try to get the bus back to our nice hotel room in Athens. So we go into town,
Bob.
and as we're coming off that hill, someone says, what were you doing up there? And we said, well, we had no place to sleep, and it was really comfy. The grass was nice. And they said, didn't you see this sign? And he points out the sign, and it's in many languages, and one is in English. It says, do not go up here. There are deadly gases, being expelled from the ground. And we said, oh. And I said, well, maybe that is what we were seeing with the flying saucer. Was we were just stoned out of our minds. And then,
when you talked about this, the internet went down a bit, just so you know.
What was that?
The internet went down while you were talking about this.
Oh. Which?
Yeah.
Me or you?
No, I don't know. How the fuck should I know? It just went, I don't know. But it went like,
it went away.
Like,
Right. Well,
but it's true.
Well, that happens to me all the time. I'm talking about something, and the universe doesn't want me to give that information. Right. It doesn't want me to give that information.
I don't give a shit about that, but it's weird. Why the fuck?
Right.
The thing is, Bob, I love the way you react to things. Well, that's one thing I love about you. You react with really calm.
Right.
I mean, like, in there, other guy sees his wife or her, whatever.
Right. She was actually, she was my legal wife.
Phone.
We actually got married. She wanted to get married.
I understand that.
Right.
I understand. Yeah, but it's still, like you react so calm.
Well, that's the only way to be. Otherwise, you're lost. If I've been in some really crazy, deadly situations, and if I had reacted emotionally, I'd be fucking dead.
Holy shit!
Right.
Well, but like most of humanity
can't do that.
Also go through that. No, I know they can't do that. They're there, but you do it another way, like another atmosphere.
It was called Grandma's atmosphere. Grandma's atmosphere.
That's true. No, it's true. Right. It's true. And you always have like an open heart for everybody you talk with.
Yep.
It's just a shame that people don't listen.
Well, days ago, who is two main families in the way back, like before, like the revolution, and they've been there forever, like 19 generations. And he's the kid of both, right? And he's in his 50s, and he went away and got a degree and was this and he was that, and then he came back and he did this and that and all the rest. And now this whole area that he's been genetically part of for like 20 generations is changing for good. It's never going back to what it was. So he's sitting on my deck and he's telling me all this information. That's amazing because I know about it kind of because I've been here 20 years and I know a lot of the people he's talking about, but they're all dead. But those people were his uncles and aunts and people that he had Christmas and all of that with. And so he's telling me all this stuff and he is the horse's mouth, And so I have a friend of mine at the library who's a historian, but he's not from here. He's not as good as this guy. So anyway, I'm listening to everything. And the morons are all around us, and he's watching them do just the craziest shit, and and he's kind of chuckling, and so we've been talking for 2 hours, and I've fed him, I've given him water to drink, and all this, and he goes, of course I've heard of you. This is the first time we've really met. I've seen you go around, and you're all right. You're all right.
All right.
Right.
Wow.
And so that was like a big plus
Yeah.
from this guy. And
Yeah.
he goes, I've
Okay.
everyone says that you talk too much. And I said, well, I tell stories. Right.
Idiot.
Right. Exactly. They're idiots. So he goes, it's pretty amazing. You haven't said anything. You've just intently listened to everything I had to say for 2 hours. You made a few interesting comments here and there. And, he said, you're all right. And then I said, well, I had nothing as important as you had to say. And I'm smart enough to shut up and listen, so. And so he kind of shaking his head. And so I say, I have one last question for you, because it was just about to rain, meaning it was like it was holding off so we wouldn't get wet, right? And so he could leave off the stupid road without, getting wet. So anyway, I say, my question to you, what's the most, you've told all my stuff. This is great. And I keep making the issue that this place out in the middle of nowhere is just like New York City, just like Ukraine war, just like all the things that cause disharmony in all these other places is going on right here. What do you think is the thing that's lacking and that is needed to fix this? And he answered, empathy.
Oh,
and that's, that's like rocket scientist intelligence. He goes, empathy.
Definitely.
And everyone, like from New York City, all the scholastics who call me up and ask me questions late at night and want to prove that I'm wrong about this, that, or the other thing. That guy was way smarter.
Why would they do that?
Oh, because they're stupid. And I enjoy it because I just am the cheeky monkey to all these guys. I tell them, and they have the internet. They got 3 monitors. They can look up 20 things at once. And so I said, go Google
Doesn't
this.
Matter.
And so they look it up, and it pisses them off because they say, oh, you're wrong because of this, this, and this. I said, fine, go Google X, Y, Z, and they look it up, and they go, and that's why. And I just keep doing it to them, and they keep. That's how stupid they are. They keep calling me back. It's I don't have the television. I don't have anything, right? And
you have everything, though.
I know, that's what I mean.
You have everything.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Bobo.
Yes, sweetie.
Everything, like seriously, you're kind of human being that everyone wants to be, strives at, but doesn't be. And also, not only are you a good listener, you're also the best talker. You can, I probably would give you my whole keys and everything.
Right.
That's naive. Yeah, but it's true though.
Yep.
I wish people were more like you.
Well, they are. Everybody is like me, but they don't let themselves be.
But they don't say it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They don't. I mean, they got it in them to be like me. I'm no real different. I'm just had this amazing mix of situations and times and places that put me into who I am. I mean, I had all these amazing people in my life, right? And most people didn't even have one amazing, maybe they had one, but if they did have 1 or 2 amazing people in their life, they didn't even know it. Like my grandma. My brothers and sisters said, "Oh, that's grandma. She makes, Italian food." No, that wasn't my grandma.
Opa.
Right.
Your grandma. What was her name?
Mary. Rosemary.
Mary. What a
Rosemary.
beautiful name.
Yep, Rosemary.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You miss her.
Well, she's always in my heart. I mean, I had
I
50
understand.
people die in my life that I truly, truly love with my whole heart. And they didn't go away. They're still in my heart. You know? And so and so it's, death is no big deal. Like have I sent you any of my novels? I've sent you some of them, right?
Yeah, and I love the way you write it. You write it with big and small and everything.
Right, and everything. Yep.
Yeah.
I try to break every grammar and spelling rule in the book.
You just want to fuck it up. Just be honest. You just want to come on, dude. We can do this better.
Yes. And I don't just fuck it up.
I know.
When I fuck it up, I do it for a reason that has a deeper meaning.
I know.
It's like an angle. It's a gem. It's a lens to look
I
at.
know. You want everybody to read.
Right.
Everybody, no matter what.
Right.
So when you talk about your father,
Yep.
my dad, me and him he was my coach.
Right.
From 7 to 20, and
Right.
then we drove taxi because I used to drive taxi.
Right.
5 years, and I worked day, he worked night.
Oh.
20 hours, split in between, so 12 each in Sweden, Gothenburg.
Right.
And
That must,
the last
man. You
time-
could write some books and film scores about that. Gothenburg is one of those
it's okay,
towns.
because he wrote his own biography.
Right.
He wrote a book, a blue book.
Mm-hmm.
And I still can manage to read it. It's gonna take time,
Right.
and it's just natural. And anyway, so when we used to be in the car going from one tournament in tennis to another,
Right.
it usually took 2 hours, 2 to 4. And he used to he was in his 40s. So I called it a crisis.
Right.
And he used to tell me every stuff I don't know shit about when I'm young to know it.
Right.
But it was talking and talking. He was like, I wish you were a lesbian. Because it's true. It's true. No, but that's true. He said, I wish you were a lesbian because men are so. And I was like, I wish I was too. I'm not. I'm sorry.
And
I
isn't
wish
that
I was
interesting?
Dad.
What I don't understand about other people looking at and judging people is humans are on a gradating scale. They're not just one thing or another thing. They're all over the place, right? And what's interesting, if you're a lesbian, that's who you are. There is no change. I mean, when I was a shrink,
Exactly.
the Shrinky book said that being a lesbian was a mental
But you would
illness.
understand it, though.
Right.
You would understand it.
Right.
I mean, you would understand what it is.
Right.
You would know.
I just know
Yeah.
because they are who my wife.
Yeah, you just know because you're born like that.
Right. My wife was
You're a lesbian, you're
bisexual.
like a woman.
I knew that from the very beginning. And I knew that even when we got
I wish I
married,
was.
I knew that.
Fuck.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have a good time and
Thing is,
be my best and
Yeah.
and get the most. I try to
I
get the
think he
most
was.
out of everything.
yeah, but the thing is, I think my dad was actually because when he told me this, and I was like, I'm sorry. I mean, I was listening to this for a day, and we were training for in the morning, in the evening, and then I mean, 14 years. That's a lot.
Right.
And when and he used to talk I want to die like this. He also spoke a lot about his death. I want to die this way. I want to die this way. I was like, well, do you really want to die in a plane crash? What the fuck's wrong with you? But it's true. And he was like, why are you always talking about you dying?
Because you were in Sweden. Come on. Everyone in Sweden is so focused on death. What is it about Sweden and death? It's like a baseball team or something. It's like what? Because I had that same conversation with a lot of Swedes.
fucking idea.
You know, I told you that, you know, I, for a good chunk of time, jumped on Swedish airplanes and went around the world. And then when Donna and I were together, we did the same thing. So when we stuck to the tour was mostly old people that went on these tours, right? And they were already dead, you know? They had oxygen tanks and all this kind of shit. And the fun people was when we'd land in a foreign land, we would be met by a Swedish tourist guide, right? And that's the interesting thing about Swedes. The Swedes that leave Sweden, they are kick-ass party animals. You know, they're just
It's a home of the Vikings.
right. Once they leave it, that's when they get freed. You know, staying in Sweden, they're like tied
That's why
down.
they're Vikings.
That's right.
The Vikings went away.
Right.
And went back.
Right. So that was my real, you know, so I spent a good year, if not more, in Sweden. And my best friend tried to kill himself like a lot of times. That's why I
It's so
went there.
popular.
Right.
I used to work for 911.
Right.
So I mean, I get that.
Right.
I kind of get that, and I was good because I had a lot of empathy,
Right.
and they tested us for 3 months for
Right.
that. Empathy is not IQ.
No.
It's fucking important. Anyway, so with that story about my dad, in the end, I mean, like when he was going to the other side,
Right.
he wanted to smoke weed,
Right.
and we did. I was like, whatever you want, you're gonna get it. I'll take care of it. And that's what he wanted, and we did. But the thing is, I tried to warn him, like, just so you know, you can get like really, really confused if you do the first time. If you had that mentality right then, it's gonna get infused. And anyway, he was paranoid. So,
Well, marijuana is a psychoactive drug, and you can be paranoid on it. You know?
but it just enhances whatever you feel.
Right. Exactly. Right. So.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's what it is, and so I've died
Ben.
7 times already. So I kind of got a 411 on what death is, and I've been around a lot of people who die, and so it's not what it's advertised as. So
I know.
it's what it is. So listen,
That's why I don't do it. Yeah.
from
Sorry.
whenever you go on the show and see me, you should just call, because you seem to be able to call me better than I can call you.
Fine, I'll do it, Bob. No,
Right.
Babo.
Right.
No worries.
So
I'll
because
call.
and that's everybody else. Everybody else was I don't know what it is
Yeah.
about WhatsApp. You know,
I love to hear everybody else. Why can't we hear everybody else?
right.
Like Jane and everybody,
Right.
Fish.
Yeah, you guys should
Or,
call. Right.
I don't know the rest, but
Again, get a hold of me at the
Love to hear
dudawake42@gmail. You know, but you know,
yeah.
not everybody likes the conversation. You know, they kind of check
Why
in
do they have a
on the
mouth?
chat and say, "Hey,
All right.
everybody,"
Fine.
but not everybody wants to, like you, have a good conversation.
Why not?
You know? So,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
gotta go, sweetheart.
Okay, Bubbo.
I'm so happy that you called in. You made the show, and I appreciate it. And you're always in my heart. And if you do,
Appreciate.
come visit your sister this summer or whenever,
We will.
and
We will.
come and get
In
me,
York.
and
Yes, I know.
we can take a road trip.
Let's do that shit. All right, fine. Let's do it. Let's invite more people.
Well, that'd be great.
Why
I mean,
not?
and we could, you know what, would be really great. The Rainbow Gathering is going to be in my neighborhood, you know, like within 100 miles or so, you know. which is something I would
Oh.
go to, right? And I used to be the dude of the rainbow. I mean, a lot of people who, I was one of the guys who was around when it got started and said, "Oh, that's interesting." And then I kind of got into it. And then when I became a scholarly anthropologist, I said, the Rainbow Gathering is a great place to go study human what they do, because 20,000 of them stuck in the woods, doing pretty much the same thing. And I can observe, right? So I did that for a good 10 years. And so I know the walk and how it's done and what it is. And we could have a really good time, especially if you got here. It's on July 4th, but the gathering really starts, Thanksgiving Council, and then the scouts go out and find a spot, and then they get a spot by May, and then the seed camp goes. Seed camp is actually the most fun. That's when the people who like to work and do stuff and be, so around June, the month of June, it's really fun. And then
the thing is, in June, Bob, I'm gonna go to a Metallica concert.
Okay, go to the Metallica. When in June?
I'm born in June.
Oh, you are? Okay.
16.
Okay,
Yes.
so after that, come to America.
Gemini.
I mean, just pencil it in. Pencil it in.
Fine, I'll do it.
Because there's a whole bunch of people who want to gather me up and travel for this, so we would have a crew. Like.
Yeah, fine. Okay, you know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right.
Then you have like a hint of what's going on.
Right, and not only that.
I know Metallica.
Right, you know Metallica. Yes. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep, I know them well.
Right, Bubba.
Okay, see you,
Love
sweetie.
you,
Love
Santa.
you. Remember, Santa's younger brother, Bob.
I know that. Okay.
Okay, you all. I hope you enjoyed the show. It lasted a bit longer because Lana called in, we talked, right? So, Fish, I've been trying to get a hold of you, but when I'm out in the deep green, I haven't really had good signal, except like at 12 at night. I know you go to sleep early. So, and Jane, I'm actually going to try and send you. Let's see if I can do it while I'm doing this. Let's see what happens. Okay, this. Share. Maybe you can't do two things at once. Oh, yes, it can. Let's see here what your email is, Jane. And gang, even if John's taking my shit, who cares? Okay. Where is your email address? Oh, there. Jane, how did you get such a wacko email? Neo. Oh, there it is. There you are. So, Jane, I just sent you the first novel, right? And I put it in the zone of comment. You can comment on it, right? Solaronics. So, anybody wants to see any of my novels? I just showed you that I could do it. I'm getting better at this internet thing, but I have a strong feeling that the internet's going to crash and burn this year, and we will end up with Musk internet. He's got these 50,000 satellites up above our heads. He's going to give everyone their own smartphone Apple is going to go the way of the dodo. All of those things. And he is. I think that's one of the reasons why he bought Twitter and wrecked it, so he can use that brand for his taking over the world. And that's the guy who's going to take over the world. He is, the most psychotic poster boy I've ever seen. There's Mao, Joe, Adolf, right? And they're all just, poster boys for Mr. Globaloni, right? But none of that matters. What matters is love's co-creation. You have your life in love's co-creation, and you be good. Okay, let's see about John Boy. So here's Johnny Toilet. See what he has to say for himself. JT.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. How you doing, handsome? What's shaking, Bacon? You still there, John Boy?
Yes.
I hear on the grapevine that you're getting rid of all my stuff.
What?
You asleep? You in bed?
I was.
Okay.
Correct.
I'll let you go back to sleep. You stay well, my friend. I'll talk to you later. Well, I guess he was asleep, which is good. It's now past 11. I got things to do. Boy, I got to really go to the Johnny Toilet. Okay. So again, more thumbs up. Make some comments. Send some money to the old PayPal. The Dude Awake 42. Get a hold of me. Okay. And Jane, send me an email saying you got it or didn't get my novel. Okay. And then we can talk about it. Tell me what you think. Okay. I need somebody to, navigate my writings to be published, right? And the people I think can do it are, I'm too busy. Your stuff doesn't make sense. I guess they're the wrong people. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Catch you later. Bye.